to look at any of these things. We actually ended up over budget, unfortunately, and time. We only had 1 semester to do it. It's not a terribly long time to implement any of these. Now we'll talk about some of the hovercraft applications.
I'll just walk you through a couple of the applications for hovercraft that's already been implemented. We got a military and a commercial one. For the commercial, we got transportation, touring, moving equipment, and entertainment. Entertainment part 3 actually. Talking about the military part there, this is a Russian hovercraft. It can carry up to 5 armored tank. It can reach different areas because of the nature of hovercraft driving on frictionless surface. It doesn't matter if there's a muddy area or there's ice. Hovercraft doesn't have problem with driving any of them. And here's another application in transportation. This is a hovercraft for being implemented in the locales, and it's usually it's being used in public transportation. So I haven't seen many private ones. And here's a touring application. And this is, it's called a rainbow hovercraft. And this application being implemented in California, in Los Angeles, I mean. And the thing is, this hovercraft here, as you can see, that like it's really fancy, and it's like can have capacity, I think, of 50 person there. For moving equipment, as I mentioned, it's mainly being used in oil fields. We know that oil fields can be very muddy, and here you see a hovercraft in a rescue mission because it doesn't have problem with going through a muddy area. Save time and money for like the oil companies because they pay per hour, and probably for the equipment and for the workers also. This here, the entertainment section here. This is actually being implemented by New Zealand, a mechanic called Roddy Ham, and the guy is actually invented a hovercraft that can go up the water level by 4.5 feet. Mainly this is a breakthrough technology because although it looks like a plane, it's not, because it's sending a surface to be able to drive this thing here. As I mentioned, it's considered breakthrough technology. Here's something we didn't talk about in our first presentation, and it's a database we implemented for the Discovery Center. We thought that maybe Discovery Center wants to collect some data about the users, like the age group of kids, which school they are coming from, which group are more interested in something like that than others. And here's showing an interface for our program. Basically, they can submit their names, their address, date of the being used, and there are many more we could have added, but just because we make it simple for them. And the data could be retrieved there anytime, as you can see in the other section there. And here's the illustration part.
So Buddy will give you a quick look and just to show you what the skirt's going to look like.
When I mentioned about the skirt and the holes, if you can see the skirt, this is 3 layers, 1 blue one here, and 2 layers of clear plastic, and here's like 6 holes around the top lid. And we would like now to just in front of you.
So we'd love to be able to demonstrate the most interesting part for me anyway, which is the servo. But unfortunately, last Sunday during testing, the servo stopped working, which is really tough. But we can demonstrate the lift component and the propulsion system. So on our control box here, we have a simple 2-direction switch that's going to turn on and off our lift system. Usually don't do that on the ground. Yeah, that is
So you should have said that there is a vacuum cleaner inside.
And here is our propulsion system. So again, it's just a simple 3-position switch. So we have low, Yeah, and that's about all we can demonstrate now. This so ordinarily, turning this knob here would rotate this servo, which did work until the servo just died on us. And that's everything. Anyone have any questions?
All right, great. Okay, so this time we start with Simon. That was unfair. Dirk may have a question, Dirk.
Well, how long would it be able to operate if you would, coast with it or going from here to Tantalum?
As long as you have a source to power this thing, then you'll be fine. You can run it like for how many hours you want.
So right now you're constrained by the length of your extension cord?
Yeah, and we actually, as Alex mentioned, Khaled mentioned, we tried to use a portable battery. It was really heavy, and it depends on the size of this battery, you can use it. So.
Yeah, we didn't have any issues working with the battery. The only thing is we were just borrowing it for the day from the workshop downstairs. And as you mentioned, our budget was very, very tight, so there's no way we could afford a large scale battery that we need to power this.
We still have to consider the lifetime of the blower to probably pass certain hours of operating before it's done.
So do you have any idea how much power it's consuming, just moving around?
That's something that we didn't really look at. The Discovery Center.
The leaf blower is a 7 horsepower leaf blower.
Okay.
So this is the one that's going here. And about the second one,
the second one draws 7 amps at 120 volts, or no damage. But that wasn't a major concern for us because Discovery Center, they stated that they wouldn't have the money to buy a battery, so they'd be running off the wall.
For the safety, I didn't say anything about an emergency stop system.
No, that's not something that you really have time or money. We did actually talk about using a distance sensor on the front to determine if there's an object that the vehicle is approaching. And if we had to use that, we could have had it shut off the main lift fan, which would drop the hovercraft down and stop the distance.
But it wouldn't give the kids the opportunity to actually drive it. It's too much restriction on the thing.
Yeah, all I mean is if the kid is on internet, for instance, for some reason he has to get up immediately. He needs to something.
We thought about a sensor at the bottom there that we could attach it to a database. First we calculate, it tells how many people are using it. At the same time, it could be as an alert system if somebody move away from the hovercraft and shut down immediately. But we didn't push it too much with that because, as I said, time was a limitation and budget was a limitation.
However, the speed of this hovercraft is like someone is walking, so it's really safe. But if we use the much stronger leaf blower, we're moving much faster. So it's something.
I have a question. Do you consider the noise suppression systems to make it required to use?
Well, I was talking to Dr. Little after the presentation. He recommended that, well, we are dealing with kids, right? So why do you need to lift 387 pounds? You probably need a way less than that. You could work on a different leaf blower that has less power, that has less noise, and you could solve a problem like that. And I feel that's pretty decent.
But in terms of installation around the components, is noise good for the noise?
That's not really something that we had looked at. It's a great suggestion for future work. The only problem is that if you wanted to start insulating, for example, the milk crate that encloses the main hovercraft, as soon as you start doing service restricting airflow, which obviously it needs a lot. So when you have air going in, you're going to have sound, which is something that
As you can see here, for the base we made the holes, so this leaf blower will suck the air from these holes. So this is a restriction that we can completely insulate the leaf blower.
Yeah, I do. You're talking about you put the back on for the fan. What about girls or maybe some guys with long hair? Their hair's going to go over the side right to the fan.
That's we cancelled the whole.
Yeah.
That's because of
Since we're not actually using a fan on the back, that's not really much of an issue. But if we had used a fan, I would definitely be something that
We have to cancel, yeah.
So how did you procure this milk freight?
the Discovery Center gave it to us. We had nothing to do
So
with
you did not steal it?
it. They did, I think.
Any other questions? That's it. So, okay, we ran out of questions, we ran out of questions. Thank you. All right, so we saved